I love to cook outside during the summer, to grill, to do, and that's what we're going to do today in our menu, a grilled salmon. We're going to cook strawberry in the sun, but to start with, we're going to start with a very sophisticated dish, a souffle, you know, and the souffle is always something a bit special to do. And the souffle we're going to do today is a souffle of spinach with ham in it, and with, of course, a lot of the spinach and with cheese. So I start with a little bit of butter. I have about a tablespoon of butter here and a dash of the oil to cut down on our butter. And with this, we're going to do what we call a roux. That is a mixture, which is a thickening agent. And the thickening agent, the roux, is done a great deal, or used to be done a great deal in French cooking. It is still done, but in the so-called nouvelle cuisine, it's been done less in the last few years. In any case, it's still done like in the Cajun country, in New Orleans and so forth. So it's a mixture of flour and butter in approximately, or oil as I do, in approximately equal proportion. You want to cook that a little bit, and of course, if you were in Cajun country, then you would have those dark mahogany type of roux, which cook for a long, long time, you know, cook 25, 30, 40 minutes and are dark mahogany color. So there, the roux is hot, the milk should be cold, and there again, to cut, I am putting a skim milk here. And that has to come to a boil now. We put a dash of salt in there, a little bit of pepper, and we just have to wait for it to come to a boil, stirring occasionally. And during that time, we are going to prepare the mold for the souffle. Now, conventionally, we do the souffle in a souffle mold, but here I'm doing that in a gratin dish. And I'm buttering slightly the bottom of that gratin dish with a brush. You can do it with your finger also. And what we have here is fresh breadcrumb and Parmesan cheese. I put a little bit of the Parmesan cheese here. To mix it together, we're going to use that in the bottom of the mold. And you see, your best way of doing it is to put the whole thing in it. Let me check my bechamel here. You know, it will start going on the outside, so you have to be sure to really bring your whisk with the palm of your hand and go around. Yeah, it's going to start, it's starting thickening now, but it will really thicken as it comes to a boil. So what you do here, you slush this around. You can bring back the thing you started with, and you go all around to put back the excess in there, you know. This is when you realize that in some part of it, like here, I didn't have any butter. I did that on purpose to show you. So I put a little bit of butter here. This because you want it to be coated all over. So this is the mold for the souffle. Actually, it can stay right on top. It's going to go in the oven on this. It can stay there. Now the bechamel, as you see, is thick and boiling now. So I'm going to put spinach in it. And I have spinach right here. See, those are nice spinach young, so I take the end of it, and if I do a spinach soup or a spinach puree, then I use the root, but not today. You know, we used to take those spinach and cook them in water just to blanch them a little bit before adding them to a dish. And this is basically what I did all my life until a couple of years ago. I was cooking with my daughter, and she was doing creamed spinach, and she came and put the spinach right into the bechamel. I say, you cannot do that. She said, why? I said, because we always cook the spinach before. She said, why? I said, I don't really know, but this is what we do. So then, you know, I'm stealing the recipe from her. I'm putting that directly into my bechamel. I know like this, I have no loss of nutrient or anything like this. I have quite a lot of spinach here, probably maybe a bit more than what I need. I clean up my table. And now with this, we want to put the eggs. I have in there 5 eggs, as you can see. In there, we're going to beat the eggs directly into the copper bowl. The best way to separate eggs is just to break your eggs in the bowl you're going to beat them, then take the eggs and take them out this way. We need 3 egg yolks for our recipe, and we have 2 extra ones here. We're always trying to cut down a little bit. That is, I'm using 5 egg white and 3 egg yolk. You know, here we are for a large souffle. So here it is. And now I'm putting the 3 egg yolk which goes into my recipe here. Can take it out directly here. It's going to continue cooking a little bit, as you can see. And in there, I'm putting the ham, which goes in there. I have a beautiful color, as you can see here. All I need now is to beat my egg white. So I use the large ballon whisk here. And we start. It goes much faster by hand than with a machine. I have a little piece of spinach in there. Hop. And first you start very fast to break the eggs and make them liquid. Then we start slowly. Notice that I'm moving the wrist. You know, I'm moving my wrist like that lightly to lift up the mixture. You know, and very often, of course, you may get tired if you move the whole arm, it's more tiring. And this is a ballon whisk. Change hand when you're tired. A ballon whisk, meaning that there is a lot of little thread and they are very flexible. For me, this is the difference between a whip and a whisk. You know, the whisk very often is stiffer, harder, and the whip, in my opinion, has more thread and is more flexible to beat like this. You see, the advantage of having a large one is take the whole mixture in one stroke instead of going from one corner to the other. This is basically ready, you know, after like a minute. Yeah, I can see it. As soon as it holds a good pick, it's about ready. And that's holding a pick, you see, when it's fairly flexible, elastic like this. At that time, we tighten the egg white. We go in a round way like this and around to make them tight. We take a mixture, some of it, like a third of it. I'm mixing it in there. You want to go very fast, you know, so the eggs don't have a time to deflate. And with the whisk, I'm mixing with the whisk some of the egg white in there. The rest of it, we're going to fold it in. So again, this is always catching, you know, on the thread at the end, so don't worry about it. Lick your finger. Then I'm putting this in there to mix the whole thing there. And now I start folding, and you see a nice folding movement. I'm bringing it around, lifting it up. The movement from the right hand is the same all the time, and the left hand, move the ball around. Okay, this is nice. Now, this is the time when it goes into my, this is a 6-cup mold, you know. 1 egg white, usually 1 cup. And now, we're going to decorate it a little bit. That is, we want to make it smooth on top, this way. Then you can do a bit of a design using the side like that of your spatula to create a pattern on top. As you can see, you can clean up the outside with your thumb to make a clean edge there. And if you want to be a bit fancier, use a piece of cheddar cheese like this, like I have 2 little strips like that. I'm cutting lozenges out of it. And I put those lozenges in the center here. Nice effect, you see. I could use some little strip that I could arrange crisscross around or put here. There, here, all around, you know. Look how pretty it is, because this is going to mark in the cooking, you know. And you're going to be able to create that design. Very impressive, without much effort. That's about it, you know. You want to put maybe a little bit of the Parmesan cheese we have left, or you know what, all of that Parmesan cheese was supposed to go in the soufflé. I forgot it. That happened very often. It's okay, it's very good without the Parmesan cheese, and it's even less caloric, so that's fine. A bit less flavor. I'm going to put that 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes here. The middle of the oven. I have one which is just about ready here. There's always a certain amount of suspense in the making of a soufflé. And here it is. I have the big soufflé right there. And you know, The souffle doesn't wait for you. You wait for the souffle. Now we're going to get to use the grill, which is nice and hot. I just look at it the way it should be. I have a slab of salmon here. You see the whole fillet that I took and cleaned, no bone in it, but I left the skin on. The skin, of course, has to be scaled. I took the scale out of it. And then we're going to cut a steak out of this. That's what I call steak of salmon. Sometimes people call steak when it's cut right through the two fillets, one or the other, you know. But I mean, I like it this way. And those steaks are going to be about 6 ounces, 5-6 ounces. So what I want to do here, pat them dry, you know, those beautiful fresh salmon, a little bit of salt on top of it, and brush it with a bit of oil. We want to cook it on the grill, skin side down, you know. So the grill has to be really nice and clean to do that. So here is what we're going to do. Just take it there. And I'm going to put 2 to cook, because I need space, because I want to cook some beautiful mushroom now. I have large, so-called portabella mushroom, those large ones with the gills totally apparent. Those are type of mushroom which are really ripe. I also have some special mushroom that someone gave me here. Those are morel, very expensive. So what we are going to do on those portabella mushroom, whole one there, the same way. We can brush them with a little bit of oil and put them to cook. A little dash of salt. I'll put a couple, maybe 3. One big mushroom like that per person is more than enough, you know. And those are really available basically all over now. They used to be kind of rare, but now they are, as I say, kind of available all over. So here we put them right there. My grill is really hot. You want to cook them on each side. So while this is cooking, I can even check my salmon. It seems to go pretty fast here. Yeah, it goes a bit fast, so I'm going to move it to the side here and maybe turn it on the other side. Because I see that my skin, the skin of the salmon is already quite brown, and that's what I want, so I put it right here up. The skin sticks. And those things happen when the stick, you know, I can take that salmon now and put it in the oven and finish it slowly in the oven, or I could put it on the side of the grill, you know, outside, with like a cover, or if I have a grill on my cover, I put it down on it and finish cooking it this way. What I have here, which goes with our dish too, is water. I just have a bit of water. I'm going to put something in it, and that's asparagus. I have asparagus here, and I want to show you quality of asparagus. Look at those 2 asparagus here. This one has a very tight head, like the bud of a flowers, you know, tight together and quite firm. This is a good asparagus. The side of asparagus has nothing to do with it. Look at those. Those are, it's like a flowers where the petals are starting opening already. That's an older asparagus, and it's already a bit flexible. This is a much better quality than this. People think that a tiny, tiny asparagus is the best quality. Size has nothing to do with it. It comes out of the ground, small or big. You want it tight, like the bud of a flower. We use a vegetable peeler here to peel the lower part of the stem here. As you can see, that part, so we can break the end, meaning that the whole thing is eatable. This is just our standard of this, if you peel the part of it which is getting fibrous at the end here. Notice that I leave the asparagus on the table, I roll it this way, and I keep my vegetable peeler flat. This is a nice vegetable peeler, but any vegetable peeler will do, providing they work. So we cut that on a bias on the side like this, and we're going to do a stew with that of asparagus, you know. So right into the water here, we put our asparagus with a lid. And as I said, we're going to do that in a butter sauce, which is quite different than, because we used to do that much more with a type of hollandaise and so forth. So what we cook here, we cook it for a few minutes until it starts getting tender. Then we put a little bit of butter in the water. And let's see now our portabella mushroom. Yeah, they are out and cooking here. That's it, they're about cooked, you know. They are dark and very meaty. So let's see, my asparagus are on a boil. You should have maybe 2-3 tablespoons of water at the end, you know, when you finish cooking. If you feel that you need a bit more water, what I do here, I'm going to take a bit more to put in there. That's it. Just to cook it, because the water is going to be mixed with the butter and create a sauce. So we use about 2 tablespoons of butter that I have here. This, of course, is unsalted, sweet, unsalted butter. See, the asparagus will stay green and nice, even though they are covered. To that extent here, I don't think I put any salt in it. No, and I can put a little bit of salt now. You want to keep your asparagus a little crunchy. You don't want them too crunchy. I like them a bit al dente, but that again is a question of taste, you know. I think that I am going to remove my portabella mushroom, which are cooked enough. You know, I see that they are cooked because they are rendering water. You know, the water is coming out of it. My grill is really hot. I'm going to stop it. Check my salmon, you know, I see that the salmon is tender and I see that it flakes, you know. If you can see that it flakes, I may open this one just to show you, but you see the center of it is going to be still slightly raw, but it is flaking. So this is the way I like it, because I like it just slightly rare inside. But that's a question of taste. Some people like it very well done, some like it more rare. For me, I'm going to remove it and keep it here. I don't want to cook it more than that. This one is a bit messed up, so maybe I look at the other side. Hey, that side looks good. Then I will present it on this side. That side looks better. Just present it on the side which looks the best, you know. There is no rule for that. I have a large daikon here, which is a radish. And that radish, we're going to use a julienne of the radish, which is kind of a bit spicy, you know, to put on top of the salmon. So I could actually use the vegetable peeler, see, to cut strip of it like this, and make a little bit of, again, a julienne out of this. That is, presenting that this way, together, and cutting it into long strip. Here we are here. That will give it, you know, really a nice crunch to it. So what we'll do now is to finish our plate. I want to present first, I will put the mushroom in there. I would not really mix my mushroom with the salmon on the same place, because you see they tend to bleed and get dark here. You can put a little bit of olive oil if you want to spurge on top. I brush it on top, but they be good, nice color around. And I could put maybe little pieces of basil on top, will go well with that type of thing. And just break the basil like this, you know. Don't worry too much. You want it to have a kind of country outdoor look. And now, our salmon. I want to finish my asparagus here. You see, there is almost no water left. I break the pieces of butter here. And then you can see at that point, if the butter gets incorporated here, it will mix with the water. And that together will create what we call a beurre moussant, a foaming butter that is an emulsion. Of course, there are about 3 or 4 times the amount of water than butter, so it makes a very light, creamy sauce. And this is the way you want to serve it, just out of the pan this way. It's ready. I have salt in it. We put it right in there. Again, you know, if I serve it with it, so many times, don't worry about the center of the plate. You can put your asparagus right there. After they are there, you can use the bowl of your spoon to spread it out to the outside. That also will go well with the salmon. I will present my salmon, one piece this way, maybe the other piece the other way. A few thyme leaves on top. We have thyme flowers, thyme leaf, which will go well with it, spring. And this is the main course for today. I forget my daikon here, which will go on top of it too. And for our dessert, I'm going to make for you the greatest strawberry jam in the world. It's cooked in the sun. What you do, you have fresh, you have to have nice, beautiful. You can't do it with the second-hand or damaged berry, you know. You do a syrup, as I have here, and that syrup is water and sugar, and that is going to cook to about the bowl stage. You know, a certain, we put the berry inside, like you would do a jam, but you see, you don't want at that point, you don't want to stir it, because you want to stir it this way, that is, but not with a spoon to break it. Then you cover it like that, and you would cook it for a couple of minutes until everything is nice and smooth. So what we do next, a bit longer than what I'm doing here, when the berry, you will see, because the berry get all soft and very limp, but still whole, you know, without being broken. So what we do, we put all of the berry into a roasting pan. See, the sugar, the syrup is starting getting pink, but within 4 or 5 minutes it will be deep red. We spread that into a roasting pan, and by then you'll have a lot of liquid with the berry, and you put a screen on top of it so the bug don't get into it, and you put that in the sun. It takes a couple of days in the sun for the berry to absorb the liquid again and become very thick. And if you cannot do it in the sun, sometime in Connecticut we have a lot of rain, you can do it in the oven. I put those in the oven, and as you can see, look at the thickness of the syrup, you know, which comes onto it. And that, of course, you can put that in jar, as I have here, to give that to your friend. Make the best strawberry jam in the world. And this is what we can have for our dessert today. You know, this is very rich, so you don't serve, you serve 3 or 4 berries per person like this. In my syrup, I'm making a mess here. Maybe 3 berries should be about enough, because, as I say, it's quite rich. But you see, the syrup is nice and clear around. And the reason for that is that we didn't crush the berry into anything. 3 or 4 are fine. With that, I would put maybe a couple of cookies, you know, especially the cookie which are kind of earthy type of cookie, and maybe a little flowers, you know, eatable flowers for decoration. And you have an absolutely stunning dessert here. My menu today really exemplifies the bounty of summer, especially my concentrated strawberry jam, which are always a winner, you know, as a jam for breakfast or as a dessert. And of course, we start with the soufflé. The soufflé has a lot of spinach in it, a little bit of cheese. You can even eliminate the ham if you want to cut down on your calorie, but it should be light, and it's already an impressive start to any dinner, a soufflé. Then the salmon, nice piece of salmon, grilled, a little bit of daikon on top. Don't worry if the skin sticks like mine, put it on the other side. Beautiful asparagus around, nice and crunchy, and those large black portabella mushroom, even though they are black, they are very meaty and good. We have a salad with that, and finally my delicious berry. And with that, we are going to drink today a muscadet, which is from the Loire-Atlantique area of France, with a special grape called the Melon de Bourgogne, M-E-L-O-N, like a melon of Burgundy. And it's a very sprite, a little bit effervescent and clean wine. Terrific with the summer, serve it chilled. I'm sure you will enjoy that with your friend. I love to cook for you. Happy cooking.